Yes, people. Good morning. How are you doing? Hope you had a good night's sleep. Hope everyone's chilled, no matter what's going on. This is going to be a very quick one because I am actually at work. But it's just been on my mind, and being that I've got so much to do, it was far easier to do a quick live and talk about it rather than to do a video and create what is more in my workload in a sense. How are you doing, guys? Thank you for jumping on. Like I say, it's going to be short. I hope you're in a good place. This is all concerning about yesterday's stream. A great stream with a lovely lady from Wales called Kimberly Isherwood. And also Katie James Swallow jumped in as well. Yes, Mr. Menza, how are we doing? Good to hear from you, sir. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. I'm just in my plot, just about to snag a couple of plots out, and I just thought I would address something. Yes. Hello to everyone that's jumped on. Like I say, very impromptu. So what it is, as we know, if anyone's seen the stream last night, it was quite a low topic, low energy topic, but it's something, information nonetheless, and that information is vital. If we're going to get a grip on what's happening and get our head round it and how to fight it, you have to know what you're dealing with. And the stream was brilliant, very informative. Kimberly was on point. You can tell she's got so much passion and drive. She don't want to be looking at things like this day in, day out, but she's driven, you know. That's very admirable, to say the least. Anyone who can look at that subject matter, because it's all about the good. I uploaded the video that one of a colleagues, Stephen, had done. And it was a well thought out, well laid out video where he just calmly talked through it all. And that calmness puts you in a false sense of security, really, because his demeanor didn't fit the information. The information was so low, and there was no other way of presenting it. So this ain't a criticism. This is saying he done a bang-on job. But because of it, you could tell there were people that were reacting in the comment section to the information, because it's horrible. Absolutely horrible when you contemplate it, whether you've got kids or not. So I totally understand that. I'm in a position where you do this YouTube and you interview people, and you're going to hear low energy stories, things that have happened to people that you didn't even want to contemplate that could ever happen to a human being. And you have to take it. You have to learn how to digest it, and you have to somehow try and utilize that to inform people and hopefully empower the individual you're talking to as well. So it's a difficult thing. Discernment, being able to judge and balance all this heavyweight, low-grade information is one of the toughest things that you're going to do when waking up. I remember Dolly used to tell me, Dolly Daydream, she cried when she was really going through the early stages of waking up, because it means finding out information that is like, what? Can you believe it? And because this information is so taboo, no one really wants to talk about it. You don't talk about it at a bus stop because it's, you don't talk about it at family gatherings over the dinner table. So it becomes as very much a taboo subject that no one really wants to address wholeheartedly. Now, for me, that is almost one of the reasons why it's allowed to happen on such a scale that it's happening, because it's a subject that no one really wants to touch. And it's horrible when you think of the amount of victims it's caused. And then them victims maybe go on to victimize somebody else, or just live as victims, stroke survivors. And we can all resonate with that. I mean, I've got plenty of subbers that are survivors. So this is just a video just to say, I hear you. This ain't done out of shock. Breaks my heart, Phil. It's difficult just even looking into. Fair play to you, such a strong guy. Well, we're all covering it, mate, but thank you for that. Thank you. I'm a firm believer you've got to go to the lows to really know. And I'm not a depressed individual. I'm quite an upbeat, quite happy individual. But at the same time, if there's bad information out there, give it me. Give me the good and the bad. I don't want to live in this Wizard of Oz world where everything's sweet, but over there's the most grotesque crimes going on, particularly with children, whilst under the veil of safeguarding. It's doublespeak at its height, and it's horrible. Now, for me, I don't thrive off this information. I don't enjoy it. And I don't want to send people into a low energy by watching and digesting this information. So that's why I had to say this, really. What I will say is the next upload is probably going to be even worse. I'm going to take segments of that video that Stephen brilliantly put together, use his narration, and I'm going to interject it with some of the talking points that he's talking about of videos that he mentions in there, but he's not put in there. In some ways, on an audible level, it's going to be graphic, but this needs to be done. I want to do this. So I apologize now, because this is not about me going down a rabbit hole to shock people. This is about literally just laying out the thought-provoking element of what this engagement with Kimberly and watching video by Stephen has done. Like I say, I covered it in the stream last night. I, to a degree, covered segments of this, but not wholeheartedly. I don't know whether I've got the will to cover this topic wholeheartedly, to be honest with you. So fair play to Kimberly and all those that do cover this intensely with passion, because it must take a lot out of your soul doing it. It must take it. I much prefer to do videos where I'm putting a nice bit of music to it, a little bit of upbeat, a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of empowering. That's my forte. I enjoy sitting down and collating stuff like that. So don't think that this next upload is going to be done out of enjoyment. It's not. It's not going to feel good. And believe me, if you're watching it once and being kind of outraged with what you're hearing, take it from me, as a video editor, anyone knows, I'll have to watch it over and over and over and over again in order to make sure the editing is on point. So this is discernment at its most prevalent for me. And I just wanted to say that and make that point. So thanks for listening, and like I say, there will be more uploads. I'm going to try and get this upload done as soon as possible. I'm going to be speaking to Brick Girl in the next day or so as well. And there'll be other bits of content popping up, as ever, guys. As ever. So, look at this, grafting. There's the old stallion over there, riding in the pissing rain. Gotta be done, truth hurts, ignorance is bliss, as saying it. But yeah, mate, I get you. Nice one, Phil. Get the sounds on. Yes, I will. I'm going to get my headphones on and get on it. Yeah, good. Yes, get them walls on. Mate, there's nothing wrong with the walls. Come on, dude. Seriously? Come on, don't be snagging me plot. There's nothing wrong with them walls. Them walls are fine. There are a couple of issues in there. Look, there's a hole around that radiator, and that's nothing to do with me, and I can't do it. It's a patch up. But I will say this. The one story that I often talk about, and it's relevant to me, and it was stark. Everyone has good friends that you can talk to and whatnot. And I had a very good friend, well, still have, he's a good mate. And I went round to his house because I was dropping off some mixes, CDs that was done for him. And he was appreciative, and it was pretty much like this. It was a new build, so we went out on his patio, and we had a fag outside. And we're chatting, and his mate was there, and his mate was stood with him, right? This guy's, whether he's red-pilled, he's not daft, he's not wet behind the ears by any means, but obviously, as you'll know, certain topics don't want to touch. I just watched a documentary that was profound. This was about 2-3 years ago, maybe before YouTube, actually. And it was a profound video called Conspiracies of Silence. Now, if anyone hasn't seen it, watch it, okay? Conspiracies of Silence. It was made by Yorkshire TV, and it was actually funded and taken down by American diplomats on the eve of it being aired in England, sometime in the 80s. It's still online. This video outlays how they initially went over to America just to film about paedophilia. Once they got there, they realized it was far bigger problem than they knew. It then took them from one area all the way to Washington. When they got to Washington, they realized there was trafficking going on a scale, a warehouse scale, industrial scale. We're talking about tunnels under schools. We're talking about private airplanes that are jetting children all over the place with diplomats. That hit me, as it would do anyone, because you just think, you know, whether you're a father, whether you've got kids or not, you think, how can anyone do that, you know? So it's profound. It sat on my head for a few days. I went to my mates, dropped off these CDs, and I'm like, right, yeah. We're just chatting. I said, mate, you know, like you do, I just watched this the other day. So I broke it down. Not too graphic, but enough for him to get the gist. You know what I'm saying? Don't want to kind of depress the guy, but, you know, shit will go on in. I'm not going to hide from it. His reaction was the most strangest I've ever had when in talking to someone about such a subject. His reaction, he turned to me and then turned to his friend. He said, I can't listen to this. And then said to his friend, bearing in mind, we're grown adults here. We're all in our 30s, 40s, yeah? He turned to his friend and said, mate, what is your top 5 superheroes? Do you understand what I mean? So I'd gone from talking to him about human trafficking, primarily with children, yeah, by the elites, organised, done, emanating around one individual in this documentary. Because he couldn't take that knowledge, he literally not blanked me, but put a wall up, turned to his friend and asked his friend to then name his top 5 superheroes, which his mate Julie fucking started. You know, we're talking Spider-Man, Batman, whoever the fuck it was. I wasn't really listening. I couldn't believe that the guy had shut the conversation down and jumped to a conversational point so frivolous, so quickly. So I can understand why people put comments in like that, the shots, because they don't, ultimately, he wants that on the head. So I get you, I do get you, but ultimately, it's going to keep going if no one wants to talk about it, if no one wants to listen to stories, and if people would rather talk about 5 superheroes. This shit's going to carry on. What we can do is probably little to absolutely nothing. But what it is doing is making you aware of what type of a world we're living in, as well as it being beautiful with the family members and your own life. We've got to look at what's going on outside. So that's my little rant. I'm sorry to keep you. I hope you have a blessed day. Stay positive. Even with this information, I'm going to shove some music on, get in a nice zone. I'm going to go home, spend time with my family, and then sort myself out and get my jobs done, what I need to do there. Staying on a level is always not even an option, is it? Particularly now more than ever. So thank you for taking the time out to listen, guys. This is Red Pill Phil. Loving you all, even the haters. God bless.